Hey everyone, I'm Garrison and welcome back to the channel. So today I'll be sharing my thoughts with a combination of an overview and a review of Girls Planet 999 from a holistic standpoint with some mix of bias, as well as just wanting to let out all the emotions from what I've been through from the very start of episode 1 to the very end of the finale of episode 12 and seeing how things really went. Because texting is one thing with friends, but I want to vocalize it, and what's a better way to do it through a YouTube video here on my channel. Now, I really want to give a thank you to y'all who've been keeping it positive in the comment section down below as I recommended. This is a safe space, no negativity, so please note that no negativity in this video or any video on my channel here, so please no negativity. But what I'm going to cover today is the top 9, all of the content in the finale, the positive, negatives, the drawbacks coming from the show from an overall standpoint, and address the elephants and the giraffes in the room per se, and how I'm gonna be moving on from this show, the thoughts that I'm getting right now and from moving on this show, thinking about KEP1ER, thinking about the contestants who didn't make it into the group and their futures, and what are the possibilities with those contestants. So with that being said, mind you, I have a sheet here that I wrote down a bit, not like a script or something like that, more so like bullet points, so I could remind myself what I'm saying, because there is a lot to cover and so little time, because I gotta study for a midterm that's coming up in this upcoming week. So let's just get into the top 9, shall we? So at number 9, spoiler alert, okay, don't watch the rest of this video if you don't not wanting any spoilers. At rank 9, we had Shin Ting. Now, I was so glad that she made it. It was either between Shin Ting, Kim Soo-yeon, and Maya, of course. I think Soo-yeon was like, at the end was like 10th, Maya was 11th, and not gonna lie, I wouldn't mind any of the 3 in the group, because the chemistry is already there with the other fellow members in KEP1ER, of course. But seeing how Shin Ting ended up being only the C-line member in the group, and seeing her drop so much, she really needed to be in the group, and seeing how she progressed on the show as well, you know, I'm trying to say. So definitely not 9, and in my books, way higher. I thought she was going to rank like 5th, 4th, 3rd, more so 4th, based on the realistic terms, and seeing how the interim rankings went with goes to show you a flawed one-pick voting system, of course, that made it, you know, unfair, which is quite debatable in my opinion. But going to rank 8, we have Mashiro. Oh my goodness, if some of y'all have seen my reaction to Mashiro's placement, I was just so overjoyed seeing her make it. I think her placement at rank 8 really set the tone of how everything went. I was like, Mashiro, next rank, next time. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is such a good top 9, such a good final lineup here. But I still remember her first performance of Idols Dumdy on episode 1, I believe, and oh my goodness, just her presence on this stage and how she just truly shined throughout all the stages, and pretty much won a lot of benefits, you know, Fiesta, Mafia, You Plus Me Equals Love, so on and so forth. So hey, I'm just so glad, you know, she's been through so much, you know, not making it under JYP, moving through and coming through, and this is just amazing, a beautiful sight to see. We love to see it. But moving on to rank 7, we had Hikaru. Now, not gonna lie, Hikaru is one of the ones in the top 9 that I haven't been a huge fan of per se, but I truly loved her performances, and especially her personality. I think I'll love her even more when we get into the variety portion of KEP1ER, because I just laughed so much when she came out with a moment with the likes. I think of the likes of other C-line members and other contestants. I think on the finale, I think it was Hikaru and like Shana impersonating her or something like that. But like the combo of Wenje and Hikaru was amazing on this show, I've got to admit. But from that, we moved on to rank 6. Oh my goodness, everyone. Kang Yeso. I've been truly emotional about, like, the last couple of episodes. I mean, Kang Yeso has been through so much, even though I think she's like at the age of 16 right now, even though she is so young and she has a bright future ahead of herself. If some of y'all didn't know, she's been through so much. I mean, being a part of a really young group with a disgusting label of doing things, and constantly being worried that she wouldn't make it into the top 9, and constantly being worried about her rank. It was just so sad to see, you know, and seeing her confidence drop lower and lower, especially during that horrible interim ranking. I'm not talking about the interim ranking before the finale, but before showing, like, I think it was when Fu Yaning was was shown, or no, I think, yeah, like Huang Qingchao was shown in that interim ranking, and like that kind of ranking and all. I think Youngin was also showed, but I was just so happy for her, so glad for her that she came through and came through at rank 6. Really well deserved. Now at 5 we have So Youngin. Man, oh man. I think it's clear to my friend So Youngin is like one of my top 5 favorite contestants on this show, next to Kim Chaeyeon, Chin Wei, Yu Dayeon. The list really goes on. Actually, I have a huge list because I loved so many contestants on this show, but she's definitely up there in the top 5. And I always thought, I feel like I mess with Youngin coming into top 9. I was like, I always thought I would love to see Bora or Youngin at rank 9, seeing how everything went prior to the one pick votes, mind you, right? But seeing her come through at 5th was amazing, and especially that moment where she absolutely killed her moments. You plus me equals love, the getting double the benefits and all. And I just really loved the showcasing of her personality throughout the show. And I feel like that's just only a glimpse of her personality, similar to the other contestants on the show. Now, moving on, rank 4, Kim Dayeon. Kim Dayeon at rank 4, I really, of course, it was obvious, you know, she was pushed by Mnet a lot. And we even had the restaurant thing going on in that particular episode with the variety portion that took away from the episode a bit. Of course, if you wanted, you made it obvious, Mnet. You made it really blaringly obvious. But I think I understood what Mnet was putting down, in more so of like, wow, like the leadership skills that she's shown on that show, on the show, Girls Planet 999. And how she is just so detailed and mindful of others, you know, like, sure, everyone's majority or like split voting for leadership at times, but then she's like, at the end of the day, it's like, whatever happens, and how she approached situations and stuff like that. I think she is such a smart girl, a smart cookie, and a very talented, I've got to admit. So really well deserved. I really liked her placement at number 4 with everything in consideration, and at the end of the day, really loved her mindset. At number 3, Yejin, I really am so glad that she bumped up in terms of ranking, and I felt like she was needed to be 110% in the group. I think based on what she's been through, you know, how CLC is going, unfortunately, with Cube at the moment, and especially seeing her leadership throughout the show, how supportive that she's been through her members in the groups that she performed in across the missions. I'm sorry, I just have so much to say here. Now, moving on to number 2, Bahi. Bahi, when Bahi got announced, I gotta address this right away. If you guys seen my reaction already, it was more so of a reaction where I was surprised at that moment because it was announcement for rank 1 Bahi between Kim Chae-yeon, of course, and I was just so surprised. I'm like, whoa, where is the C line in this group? There was no C line member announced yet, up to, you know, rank 9 at the very end there, and I'm like, wow, what is going on here? But I think at the end of the day, it all adds up, due to, you know, the fan base, the support, the collaborations that's going on. And to be fair, you know, like, sure, someone can be very rude about it with Bahi, and like the support that she's been getting, and play the brother card or whatnot. But if you think about it, Choi Ye-jin, Kim Chae-yeon, you know, Kim Dayeon, a good amount of these top 9 contestants had these collaboration type of votes. You know, Kim Chae-yeon collaborated with Mize, her fandom collaborated with Mize and other fandoms. You got Yejin, Chashir's coming into the mix, of course, collaborating with, I would say, multitudes of different kind of fandoms, very diverse with it. So, you know, I really don't understand the hate for Bahi, especially when people are being so double standard, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's wild. I heard from a friend that he was watching videos on YouTube or something, or read something. It's like a good amount of people are saying, oh, sure, they would love to see Bora in the group. It was sad to not see Bora in the group, right? So and so forth. But then proceed to say, I don't like Bahi's placement, and to saying I would stand this group immediately. Like, what are you saying? That's very, very contradicting. And at the end of the day, those type of people really grind my ears when they are being very contradictive from what they're saying, or if they're contradicting their actions, so on and so forth. You know what I'm trying to say? So I think this was very well deserved, and seeing how everything was done for Bahi from Mnet, I felt like she was not set up well, right? There was preconceived expectations because of her brother, of course, and there was not that many of like great moments that they showed, like in terms of film wise on tape. So I'm really glad that, you know, she made it somehow. I mean, regardless if she made it 8th, 7th, 6th, so on and so forth, I think I'm really satisfied with her placement after, you know, thinking about it for quite some time and feeling about it, and also keeping in my mind, similar to IZ*ONE, that the members that, you know, don't stick with me immediately upon paper, and from what I've seen from the earlier episodes, will grow on me. And I highly recommend y'all to be patient. And if you have a contestant or two, or majority of the group that you don't really mess with immediately, allow for time to really grow on you, and for those contestants to grow on you, in the variety, in the promotions and the songs and all. So I think that's going to be a huge thing, is that Bahi's going to grow on me, and I know she will for a fact. And Yejin's mentorship is going to push that even more. You know, her mentorship is always a beautiful sight to see. Now, rank 1, everyone. Rank 1, we had Kim Chae-yeon. As some of y'all may know, the #1 pick for me. Oh my goodness, everyone. I was surprised that she placed rank 1. I thought she was gonna drop quite a bit, like I'm talking about 3rd, I'm talking about like maybe back to 8th, 9th and all. And I felt for her when she did that speech. I even thought it immediately before that. She's been through so much, you know, constantly placing 9th, went up 8th, Next thing you know, drop to 11th. It's not easy being on the brink of like top 9 in between the mix right there, you know what I'm saying? Similar to not being easy for being rank 1. It's not easy for getting a planet pass. It's always that pressure factor. And just seeing her come through with rank 1, I think it was very well deserved. How I think she was one of the contestants that approached situations really well, similar to like Dayeon and Yurina, I've got to admit. I mean, Kim Chae-yeon, that moment I could remember vividly, you know, back on that mission with the Twice performance, and then she spoke up about the line distribution to Cherry Bullet's G1 on the back of the page and all, and spoke up for the other members that who were having a trouble time to voice their thoughts and opinions because they were scared to come off and brush off in the wrong way. So yeah, she didn't even need that angel moment too. I mean, if you think about that one time where Yeso was announced, you know, below top 9, and everyone kept talking about her rank. And honestly, if I was in that position too, I was be guessing ranks left and right, similar from a viewer perspective. But she addressed, right? She addressed Yeso, shook her hand, and was like, congratulations, you know, nonetheless, you know, at least on the bright side, I was happy that she was still in the mix and not eliminated in that particular episode. But how she addressed that was such a beautiful moment. Sorry, everyone. But yeah, how everything played out across rankings, it went from 4K, 3C, 2J, 3K, 3C, 3J. We got one episode that it was evenly divided, believe it or not. And then the next one was 2K, 4C, 3J. And then we had 3K, 2C, 4K. And then we had 3K, 2C, 4J, okay? And then we ended off with 6 K line members, 1 C line member, and 2 J line members. Now, first things first, I think this could have been obviously way worse. It could have been the interim where we had only 1 C line member and 9 members. Oh my goodness, then the fandom would blow up like crazy, or the following of this show would be even worse. And based on the interim though, like now that I see of it and how I said before the live airing, I was like, it's gonna be really hard to see 3J, maybe 4J, but if it's like, you know, just somehow that happened. But seeing 3J, it would have been amazing. Okay, I think 3J would have happened, or 4J would have happened, if it wasn't for the flawed voting, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really wished we had Yurina in the mix with Hikaru and Mashiro, right? That's the one thing that still goes through my mind, unfortunately. And the fact that she had to go out her way to apologize on social media, like, no. If anything, she shouldn't be apologizing. The people, I'm talking about the people on the internet, should be apologizing for what they blaringly said on social media, how she's just simply beautiful and, you know, not talented and all. And I think a good part of what happened here, honestly, is the support from Japan. I'm gonna have to call them out, and just the general support internationally of Planet Guardians, right? From what I know from Japan, there were comments such as like, oh, if she wants to be a K-pop idol, but she doesn't speak Korean at all, that doesn't make any sense. Blah, blah, blah. Don't Koreans prioritize skills before anything? I mean, like, it just, I think there was so many netizens that were very contradictive and never thought about it in a way where, like, oh, how about the K-line members? How come like not that many of them went out of their way to speak Japanese? You could flip it like the script like that, vice versa with it. And I think right from the get-go, just based on her audition performance, sort of like, it's not an audition performance obviously, but the placement kind of performance of like, oh, if she's really good or not, set up really bad preconceived expectations, especially what's shown throughout the episodes. She was constantly worried about her rank, actually more than Yeso, as thinking, oh wow, I was placed rank 1, oh no, I dropped rank 2, the constant pressure of rank 1 and living up to those expectations that you have not nearly hit yet is just so much pressure and stress, as much as Ruan getting the planet pass. Remember how she was stressed? I think not a lot of people focused on Yurina's stressed out moment of being rank 1 as much as Ruan getting the planet pass, and I think that was due part of some sort of editing that was going on beyond that. So beyond the planet pass of Ruan and beyond Yurina being stressed, I think that something else happened on, like some storyline that was going on, if I recall correctly. So I really feel for Yurina. I'm sad that Shaorina can't be a thing in this group, but hopefully we see them continue to stay in contact, and hopefully Yurina gets picked up somehow, because I want to see all those netizens get proved wrong. I also want to see the people that were naysayers coming from Japan, not necessarily all of them, but the people who are being unsupportive, really get proved wrong. And it was just that whole ridiculous thing about family respect and all taking a whole different route, going to Korea, all of a sudden going on Girls Planet 9 to pursue and to become idol in Korea. You know what I'm saying? It is just ridiculous. It's sort of like the comment that I get within my family that I hate a lot, and you guys know I rarely use the word hate, is that statement of, oh, you're unappreciative of me, you don't appreciate what I do for you. Oh my goodness, I hate hearing that. But anyways, moving on to my next thing that I need to address. This is the point where we get into the elephants and the giraffes in the room, per se. Okay, my friend, when I was on like 1 hour of sleep, some caffeine and all, my friend wanted to know my thoughts on this particular statement coming from someone who said this on YouTube or somewhere on social media. So this is how it goes, quote unquote. I'm going to read out this statement. If any of you ever thought this show was meant to be equal, you're wrong from the get-go. Any company knows that having a group with the majority of the lineup not being Korean would hurt them in Korea. They'd never do that. Having 3K, 3C, 3J would be good for international, but wouldn't work well in Korea. They just use the global group as a way to gather international fans, knowing that at the end of the lineup it would be K-sided. Now, hold up. I need a drink before this. No, my water sprayed me. Okay, so to address this right away, I do think 3K, 3C, and 3J is good intentions, right? It's good intentions at the day, of course, fairness and all, not necessarily realistic, of course, but I really disagree from this mindset. Now, I don't necessarily disagree of how it's like, oh, they wanted to make this K-sided, they wanted to, you know, label this as a global group, but at the end of the day make it a K-sided. I think how the statement goes is this sort of mindset, vice versa. This individual's talking about realistically it's not going to happen, it's going to hurt them in Korea, while there's other people out there who's like, it would have been fair if they did 333, 3K, 3C, 3J. I feel like if you take this kind of mindset, take a step back, and if you think about what I replied to my friend here, I said, good distribution gets a group known better. There's this relatableness, you know, so you don't necessarily need like heavy, C, heavy J, heavy K by any means. If anything, being popular international is really good nonetheless, if you're either more popular international or if you're popular locally, so on and so forth. But there are groups out there that are heavily have a K line, yet they're not super extremely popular in Korea. They're not super extremely popular in China or extremely popular in Japan, you know what I'm saying? Etc, etc, etc. And what I replied to my friend about this statement, I took a solid 20 minutes to say here. Make sure you hear this out, guys. I said, in most cases, it's better to have a diverse fan base or a heavy international fan base. K-pop is not black and white anymore. It's about how the public receives the music and the art. And let's say it was 3K, 3C, 3J. Does it automatically render international popularity? No, it doesn't guarantee it. Okay? Let's say KEP1ER came out right away at this moment, and they came out with questionable music. How's their popularity gonna go? Let's say if they had some drama going on with the music video and the outfits and all that stuff. How is the public gonna receive it? You know what I'm saying? So you could have a really good lineup, but you can produce really bad music though. And I feel like that's the same way with like having real good music, but having a really bad music video. At the end of the day, you gotta have both. So it doesn't, having a more heavy K, C, J, or having an equal distribution of members does not render international popularity or local popularity in Korea automatically. It doesn't guarantee it. It's sort of how I feel about it from a business standpoint of like, let's say I myself, Garrison, released a product and it was really bad reviews and all. Is it, if it's bad at the end of the day. If it's good, it's good. Okay, quote unquote right here, I want to highlight this again, right? K-pop is not black and white anymore. It's about how the public receives the music and art, and it's so true. Think about it, right? Back in the day, it was so simple to follow K-pop. Okay, you had the likes of Girls' Generation, you had the likes of Sistar, right? You had the just like few groups here and there from mid-tier to high-tier labels, and then such rare gems such as G-Friend of a course to follow. And there wasn't any like trend that was necessarily going on. If anything, there was just exact signature sounds within labels for certain groups going on. But now it's like you got to diversify yourself, you got to switch it up, and that's not just only the members in the group, but what's most importantly is what genre you mess with, what kind of art form you mess with, what kind of concept you mess with. Now these days you see NCT going buck wild with concepts, you know what I'm saying? So I can't agree with the mindset of, oh, it would hurt them locally, it would hurt them internationally, it wouldn't work at all, it would, the FL word, I don't want to say it because it's a horrible word at the end of the day, but I think that mindset is really skewed. I just wanted to talk about that really badly because that doesn't work at the end of the day, Chief. That doesn't work. But moving on, yeah, there is no XYZ formula to sum it up for popularity. It's always about output and reception, but then more so of the positives. Okay, let's get into slowly transitioning to positive. First things first, KEP1ER. I love the meaning behind the group name. I'll share it somewhere on the screen here, and a group meaning that goes far and beyond what was described in the finale, but not necessarily the styling of the logo per se, and the number 1, of course, on it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get used to the styling of the logo and such. But moving on to something that's way more positive is I love the chemistry in this group already. I mean, look at this lineup. This top 9 is pretty goated. Now, mind you, pretty goated. It's not goated, but it's pretty goated in a way. It's where it's like the chemistry is there. If it was goated, it would have 12 members, or there would be 2 groups debuting, because they could very well debut 2 groups from this show. It was a missed opportunity in my opinion. But yeah, going back, I love the chemistry in this group. You've seen them work together so well with each other, and that there's no set roles in this group. If you think about it, sure, there could be a set leader in this group like Dayeon or Yujin, but like literally Dayeon, Yujin, Chaehyun, a lot of these individuals like Mashiro could very well come through in the leadership role. You could have sub leadership roles. You could have a member end up rapping, and the next thing you know, it's like, oh, when did this member rap? When did this member come through with great vocals? And I think that was one of the skewed mindsets of a lot of Planet Guardians about the show, is like, we need a K-line member to be the main vocal in the group. Oh my goodness. Like, seriously. I mean, look, you have the likes of Jujian, you have the likes of Kubo, Rina, everyone. There was so many main vocal potential like contestants for the finale in the top 9 that I can name out a lot from the other lines, from C and J lines at the end of the day. And however, immediately you don't see it right away, main vocal or anything, but Kim Chaehyun, very stable vocals, and I think over time she can really go crazy with her vocals, and there's a lot of potential to her. Yujin, you saw her step up the leadership role in that one episode, actually stepping up with 2 roles, and you saw Youngun coming through with such power notes at the same time, so they can really do it, make it come through, and then you don't necessarily need certain things to be the way they are. I mean, we've seen certain debuts go like Rocket Punch didn't have a rap part in their song Bim Bam Boom, you know what I'm saying? That's a good example right there. But then moving on to more of the positives here. Okay, I really loved coming from the finale here. I'm gonna check my timer. I don't want to go talk too much, but the positive from this show, there was no headaches that I got from this show. Nothing was heavily rushed compared to the last couple episodes. Of course, obviously the waiting for the top 9 announcements was like scripted in that way, where Yujin could have to pause. He's probably looking at a timer of some sort to announce the next member in the group and all. But nonetheless, I really was glad it wasn't rushed. Solid 3 hours. Some things were rushed, like family things and variety things, but nonetheless, really loved the variety portion that I'll talk about later on. Nearing the end, the last couple of episodes for Girls Planet 999, finally we got to understand certain relationships between the contestants, and also on social media for the contestants who did get eliminated earlier on. And then later on, back on the finale, we had a lot of wholesome moments with the full course meal, family message moment, the messages between themselves and each other and fellow friends. Oh my goodness, that was just such sweet moments, and moments that really got me emotional, like Wenjae and all, and also Chin Wei coming through and with her message as well, Maya's brothers, so and so forth. But I really loved the songs. I think Shine was such an amazing upbeat song. I loved the overall dynamic with all 18 contestants and all in the choreo for it, and how contrasting the song was. It had its peaks and it has its dips during its moments. It wasn't linear at all. And then Another Dream, oh my goodness, such goated lyrics by So Ji-yeon. Now, So Ji-yeon, when I saw her immediately, is like, hey everyone, I'm So Ji-yeon. I came through the lyrics, the meaningful lyrics. That's what I love, and hearing them come through with that amazing, beautiful and meaningful song was everything. In case y'all didn't know, like, Sojin has worked with the likes of SM artists, I think the likes of Weekly, so on and so forth, a ton of amazing artists. So I'm sure we'll see Sojian on the debut album as well. If not, just another dream and maybe into the comebacks as well. Now, moving on to the negatives, I just want to reel them out real quick. I don't want to spend too heavily on the negatives and then wrap it up and all. So the negatives, obviously evil editing, the amount of given screen time to certain contestants, the linear forced storylines. It was always necessary to continue a storyline from last episode. It was necessary to ensue some drama for certain groups or all of the groups. And then there was my huge problem alongside the evil editing was the preconceived expectations, by saying, oh, Yurina, you were rank 1. You should have been better than this. Oh, you should have been better at this. Oh, you should have been better at this. Especially it was evident in the Eve team for the the Eve team back on that mission. There was so much preconceived expectations because they were so heavily favored as like very strong, like the best team out of the other teams. You know what I'm saying? So more, and leading to my next point, there was majority of the time no actual critique coming from the masters. Sometimes there will be. However, this is the catch. Mnet didn't show that many redeeming moments. There wasn't more like, comeback moments. And there wasn't moments where they showed the actual good compliments and the supported messages by the masters. I mean, it was Tiffany who came out and said they actually cut out like my good stuff, and all that stuff, and it was clear by Jujian as well about on her live about how Tiffany came through and complimented Jujian so much, and even though it was cut out of the show, she was just so glad, alone, and happy that Tiffany complimented her on the show, you know what I'm saying? Leading to my next point is the horrible conditions. As some of y'all may know, the sleep, I already knew that from the very get-go, knowing Mnet shows. I mean, this is beyond their actually, it's pretty much all their survival shows. Show Me the Money, the Produce series, Idol School, the so on and so forth. Lack of sleep, they tend to film like 48 hours, like some ridiculous amount of hours to film like 1 or 1.5 episodes, so on and so forth, which led to things like Lee Chaeyeon being seen as coming off wrong, as not being motivated, being tired at her practices and stuff like that. No duh, she was tired because of the lack of sleep that was provided by the conditions and all from Mnet. Next thing, no proper translator, of course, revealed by a good amount of the contestants. And then there was restrictions with cell phone usage of like, oh, I can't use my cell phone to translate, hello. And also, with that, no proper translators. So evidently, oh no, duh, why it's been so long into the finale until we saw Hikaru coming through with her message in Korean, if I believe, at some point in one of her speeches. And no wonder why there is a lot of loss in translation, and obviously people coming off the wrong way. I think Wang Ye, Chabing, a good amount, like, sure, is the personality, but also part of the culture where they come from, and all, like Wang Yale being super confident, this is my style. But then I was glad that she was able, to understand the situation. I'm like, oh snap, I messed up. And then there's some personality things like, yeah, this is such a personality thing that I don't mess with, which is why I was careful with a bit about Chabing and some others, seeing them, like, sure, they're really talented, but then when the personality showed, I'm like, I don't know about this anymore. But I think one thing though about like Chabing and Suruchi is that it was over exaggerated with the editing, and more so they actually evil edited them, made things over exaggerated, especially Jujian, not Jujian, but Suruchi being edited with the I would say the yawning moment, you know what I'm saying? And then I think Jujian, yeah, I was about to say that the conditions, hearing that she had to withdraw from the show to really maintain her mental health and physical health, it really goes to show you how bad the conditions were on the show. So, which is why it leads to my next point here. Context, okay? Keep this in mind, context. Seeing how everything went on the surface level, like, let me give you an example. The likes of Dayeon earlier on, Mnet pushing her for wanting, you know, she always shown like, oh, I want rank 1, you know, I was initially, you know, was ranked 1 by the Masters and all. The likes of you, Dayeon, where she was, you know, really wanting to do well and to really come through with amazing performance and showcase herself really well on the show. And it was more seen in a way of like heavy greed and being so-called a snitch. And by no means, I don't think she was a snitch at all, you know. If anything, like, she spoke up about the situation, and it was denied about the situation that she never spoke up, which I found really ridiculous. And then there was that learning moment, you know, in the later episode, flashback to that Yu Daeun moment. However, I definitely thought she could have approached the situation better, and the likes of many other contestants. And I think there's this live and learn type thing, and the context of things where we don't know what's going behind the scenes, and Mnet editing and cutting out things way too much, especially how I was saying about the lack of redeeming moments in the show. That was a huge negative for me. So yeah, at the moment, I'm still supporting you, Dayeon, and I really hope that we'll see more from her in the future. But like examples of like context, I want to give a couple examples here, like Jo Byung-gyu. Jo Byung-gyu from this famous show called Uncanny Counter with Kim Se-jung popped off and all, you know. But then next thing you know, it was amidst of the bullying rumors. Cancel this, cancel that, cancel culture, you know what I'm saying? But next thing you know, the original person who accused him of bullying apologized and never thought it would go to this bad of measures of seeing so much canceling and hate threads and all that stuff on Jo Byung-gyu, because he didn't actually do any bullying in the first place. Next thing you know, people didn't find out about his situation, and still to this day, people are like, heard about this? Okay, done. Heard about this? Okay, done. Similar to Woojin, Kim Woojin, Stray Kids, and also like that IG post. Actually, the original poster of that post with alcohol or something and a girl, it was the original poster came out, hey, this is not right, you shouldn't be doing this to Woojin, you know what I'm saying? Like, but nobody found out about it, and I think that documentary of his really clears things up. And then the likes of BI from Icon, there's just so many things that people view from the surface level but never think about it like in terms of a whole context, and people jump the boat too much, they flip-flop. And I can tell you right away, people are gonna flip-flop for KEP1ER. They're gonna not like it, you know. Oh, I'm not gonna follow this group, like, sure, like heavily, and I'm talking about more so heavily the haters and stuff like that, only saying bad things and spilling the tea, so-called. And then next thing you know, when KEP1ER comes out with music and variety, I'm telling you, a good amount of them are gonna flip-flop like no tomorrow, and that's what just happens at the end of the day. But to wrap things up, I want to share a bit about a story about Yu Daeun, and then moving on actually. So there was this DC inside post that was translated by Dayeon's KR. It wasn't exactly translated fully correctly, mind you, as Dayeon's KR mentioned in the tweet below it. But right away, a commenter, I think it was on one of her YouTube videos, it was like, or on IG or something, it's like, I don't like you because of your frustrating actions during Girls Planet, but after knowing the entire situation and learned that you were a victim of malicious editing, I feel extremely sorry. Looking at you now, it's really a pity that you could not show your amazing skills to your heart's content. If It was really heartbreaking to see your expression looking as if like you have given up during the last elimination. I will continue to cheer on you on. I want to see you proudly doing well. I'm truly sorry that I misunderstood you. See, this is where I thought there were so many misunderstandings on Girls Planet 999. And that leads back to my whole point about context, okay? Something happened, there needs to be context, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like people are so haywire with it, and I'll explain that later on after I see Dayeon's reply that she ended up deleting just in case, because I feel like she's been very cautious these days because of the amount of hate that she's been still getting somehow. She replied, "Thank you for cheering on. Actually, I was having a hard time every day after the program. I wanted to fully give up, but because I have devoted my entire life for this, I think my efforts will be considered as nothing if I were to give up. So I decided to try until the very end, smiley face. At first, there were translators in front of us, but they were not translating. So it was a situation where I couldn't understand what my team members were saying. There, the actual tea was spilled. Translators." And then later on, when it was broadcasted, I was like, oh, so that was what the others were saying. The line distribution issue was also a bit frustrating because there were a lot of parts that were omitted from the podcast, even though I have clearly expressed my intention since the beginning. But as a result, I ended the stage well and also received a lot of praises. I comforted myself. Thank you for noticing that I am not at the wrong side. And have a nice day. Heart. Wow, what a lot to take in. Okay, first things first, you know, addressing this and actually like saying thank you for supporting me, you know, even though you messed up and all, and actually spilling information that there were translators but didn't do their jobs. Like, hello everyone, like something is wrong, you know. So I hope people realize what happened for some of these contestants, the likes of Dayeon, the likes of Lee Chaeyeon, the ones that didn't get seen well, the likes of Fu Yaning. I mean, there's still some people that don't like Fu Yaning because of that Yejin drama at the very first or 1 or 2 episodes about the helicopter shout out thing. But then we found out about from Lang Chao is that, you know, basically it was scripted. So it's like, come on, guys, like you got to know the context of things. This is similar in a way where I see people being so childish, calling things racist, but not knowing the context of it, calling things cultural appropriation or something like that, and immediately picking sides, or a bullying controversy, so on and so forth, across all these, you know, serious topics, but just simply cancel this, cancel that. So, man, it's one thing that we can't entirely change, but at least there's some people like this who have a realization moment like this person with Dayeon, you know what I'm saying? But moving on, it was great to hear the news about the pre-debut reality show for Kep1ER, everyone. I am so excited. You can definitely see me doing a reaction if there's no copy claims for the channel here. I'm going to be doing it early for the Patreon, of course, everyone who's been watching the full-on episodes with me. I think it also really depends on the length of the episodes, how many episodes, so we shall see. The trending of Kep1ER debut album, it was at like trending number 12 or 10th in Korea. Next thing you know, we already got news of Wake One and Swing Entertainment about the debut album and preparation of the promotion schedule. Like, yes, we love to see it, but hopefully they get a good break, because I'm sure the show was exhausting going through all these days, all these hours, and all these episodes. But aside from that, I want to talk a little bit about the other contestants who didn't make it. Right away with Lee Sunwoo coming from Evermore Music. It was announced, I think, from Evermore Music or from an article that Evermore Music will debut Lee Sunwoo with other of their trainees like next year at some point. Really love to see it. Lee Hae-won, I hope there's something with Lee Hae-won in the future. I think she was one of, I would say, one of the rare girls on this show where that didn't get that much of the spotlight, and I think she has so much potential to go so far in the K-pop scene and all. As for Dayeon, I can't believe she didn't make it. I think she didn't get to show enough of herself on the show. I don't know if she's going to continue pursuing a debut in Korea or not. I think she is an individual trainee alongside Lee Yi-min. Lee Yi-min, like, wow, I think we need to see a little bit more about Lee Yi-min, am I right? And then we had Maya, An Jong-min. They could potentially debut together under Top Media. I hope they debut in the same group. I would immediately follow them right away. Now, if I become a diehard fan or not, we shall see with their music and stuff like that. For Kim Soo-yeon, you know, considering of Mystic Story coming out with an upcoming girl group real soon, I think it's like next month. For Billy, the likes of Moon Soo, Haram, Haruna, those members and all. I hope Soo-yeon, depending if they pre-filmed, pre-recorded everything, I hope Soo-yeon either joins the debut or into the first comeback. Realistically, if they already filmed, then it has to be later on, unfortunately. But I hope she stays under Mystic, because Mystic is such a good label in terms of promotion and variety. They give subtitles. I loved how Billy had did busking back in the day, as they were known as Mystic Rookies, and they also have an amazing boy band called Lucy. And then as for the Yehua contestants, Chen Shin-wei, Jo Jin-yu, I hope to see them debut in the same group together with the other Yehua contestants, which I'm not sure about. The likes of Juro Wei. I noticed that her IG profile got removed, so I wonder why that's the case. What is going on with Juro Wei? Hopefully get more information about her. So yeah, I would really love to see something from those three. And then moving on to Jujian, I really hope she somehow makes a debut in Korea. As of recently, she spilled the news of how she was, you know, chosen her song for the first episode, Siren, of course, for Sunmi. So little time to prepare, so little sleep going on, and talked about the conditions of the show. Then I want to see Cherry Bullet and Fanatics get more attention after this show. They really need it, especially Fanatics. And also somehow it's the same case for Cherry Bullet, unfortunately. Seeing them going so far to have to go on this show, even though they've already made their debut. I mean, if you keep in mind, they've been through digital singles and single albums. And then as of recently, Love So Sweet first mini album. It took them so long to get a first mini album. So hopefully get more attention. I mean, I noticed them since debut, and I just hope more people notice them. Surely more people did, but I hope for that comeback. If not near the end of this year, early next year, of course. Now, I want to see more, like the likes of Dayeon. I think Dayeon, I hope she gets picked up with a decent, good label. And then Shana, I hope she leaves MMLD, Momoland's company, not gonna lie, because I don't see how everything's going with that label, and I don't like that label, how they've done things with certain members in Momoland and all. I hope Katoni debuts in Korea, like Won Jae told her, please continue rapping. I think she has a bright future ahead of herself and so much potential. So much untapped potential too. And then last but not least, the Blockberry creative contestants. Yaeyoung, Jungmin, and Xian. I think, I don't know what's going on. BBC doesn't have the resources right now. They have an IG account for these three trainees that they hold. I hope they transfer to a subsidiary or somehow, because BBC, it's not looking like they can even manage themselves with Luna, you know what I'm saying, or from what they've been doing with Luna, you know what I'm saying. So those are my hopes. I'm sure there's more contestants that I can talk about, or contestants that I missed that I hope that I would see in the future. But see you in the next Girls Planet 999 video. I think I'm gonna cover the songs that came out on the show. To be honest, Shine and Another Dream, gonna do a rewatch sort of party with y'all, and not sort of like a review, because I just want to share my thoughts, because at the time when I was on 1 hour sleep, I couldn't share my thoughts. I only shared a bit of my thoughts for those particular performances and songs. And also see you in KEP1ER content, or any of these other contestants that come out with new stuff. If you want me to see me react to some Jujin videos, some Fnatic videos, be sure to let me know. But hey, this has been Garrison. Sorry if I talked too much. Oh, we're nearing the 1 hour, so I better wrap it up. Be sure to like, share, and maybe subscribe, as it helps out the channel so much, and just warms my heart connecting with y'all about what happened on Girls Planet 9, the finale, the top 9, and just spreading the positivity at the end of the day is what I truly love connecting with y'all about. Have a great day, have a good night, have a good afternoon, wherever you are. Be sure to check out my Patreon if you want to see more exclusive Girls Planet 999 content, like full-on reactions and early reactions to K-pop in general. And peace.